guys. So I think this video is long overdue. This is going to be our experience seeing Nate when he was at BMT and seeing him for that weekend that you get to go down there before they go to tech school. And this is a huge deal, especially since you've been gone away so long from them. I think it's like 8.5 weeks or something like that. So this is monumental, and to see the transformation and change. And just a quick little thing, it was funny because when my husband came home from tech school before we moved here, we went out on a date night, and he was still so in that zone of being in, training and preparing and always having your eye out, that we were taking a late night walk, and we walked near this bar, and he was like so on edge and so ready to like fist punch the first person that decided to attack us, because he thought people were, they're just so still in the zone and have that mindset. So I figured I'd share that little thing before. But if you want to keep watching and hear our little story of my husband, and don't mind my hair is still wet, for when he graduated BMT, and I'm also going to do little clips right here of the coin ceremony, what it looks like, and I thank you, Dad, for doing this. My dad filmed so much and sent it to me on a DVD format of like everything, so thank you, Mom and Dad, for doing that. So yeah, I'll show clips along the way, so if you want to keep watching, please do. Okay, so to start off our little BMT thing, I have some notes written down. When they first leave, we went with my husband when he went to the MEP station, because they usually leave through there, and we went there to say goodbye to him. It was so butt crack early in the morning, and it was bittersweet. I saw him, they make them walk in formation, dressed straight to the bus and waving by, and I had my daughter, and it was really sad, and we were the only people with married or family that was even there, so just had to give our support to him. And they say that once they land, or within the first 48 hours, you're supposed to make contact to let you know that they're okay, but he didn't. And I guess it all depends on how busy they are, how well their squad does. So yeah, I didn't get that, and so I was freaking out. The first 2 weeks had to be the roughest and the slowest. After the first 2 weeks, you will probably get a call on whatever day they decide. We got a call, or my daughter and I got calls on Sundays, and we started getting letters from him in the mail. After he gave us his address and we got his first letter, we were able to write him back, and their addresses are really long. So halfway through the process of them being there, you will get a letter or thing in the mail for the actual day that they'll be graduating and the information you'll need. So halfway in is when we got it, and that's when we were able to get everything ready and prepared to go see him graduate, which was super, oh my gosh, it's still really exciting just to even think about. So the first time you'll actually see your airmen is going to be at the Airmen's Run, and I think it's Friday to Sunday that you'll be able to see them, depending again on how well their squad does. Now if they get honors, they get like 2 days to go out in public, and if they don't, they only get 1 day. The first day you see them, you have to stay on base, which is like so crowded and congested. Lackland is very, very packed. Now what people do for the Airmen's Run is they could make signs for their airmen, which I have a sign hanging up right here that I held up and my sister held up for my Airmen's Run. So I'll go ahead and show you that real quick. And I'm not going to show you his full one because it has his last name, but that is it, and it's pretty big. Where I went to go get the sign done was buildasign.com, and it was only $20 for that huge of a sign, which was a really good price, and you could customize it however which way you want to. So we were able to get that. And also before, you can order these buttons. And these buttons, you know, you order from a website. I don't remember the website, but if you go to the BMT Facebook page, they have all the information under the info bar on their Facebook page, and that's where I was able to get buttons, and I bought them for my parents, my sister, my daughter, and me. And I still have a couple of them. A couple of my parents have, so, and I think one his parents have. So yeah, this is the button that you can get. It just kind of, you know, goes on like that, and you can wear it in support of your airmen. So that is what we did. And yeah, so like I said, the first time you'll see your airman is when on the actual airman's run. And they're not allowed to look at you, so don't be disappointed. They have to keep running and keep looking straight ahead. I guess my husband told me that somebody who was running next to him actually saw the sign that was for him and said, "I saw your family." So yeah, you don't be disappointed if they don't look at you. It's because they have to keep looking straight ahead as they're running. Another thing is, like I said, the first day you have to stay on base, and like I said, it's really congested. There's a bunch of other people there, different squads graduating with your airmen. So and I don't think that you can bring them to a hotel the first day. They have to actually get approval from their MTI or MTL or whatever it's called to do that. We wanted to do that because our daughter was only 1 at the time, and it gets really hot down there, and she wasn't used to such humidity or heat, so we wanted to go into the hotel room with my parents and just relax and talk to my husband. But we weren't able to do that, so we kind of just drove around, sat in the car in the AC. We went, and let me just say this too, we took him to the BX there, and these guys are ravenous. The place is packed and filled. My husband ate Charlie's and he devoured it in seconds, and then went to get Baskin and Robbins. These guys and ladies have not had like food for a while, so be prepared for them to be really hungry. And I brought my husband also snacks, so that's just another thing to keep in mind if you're interested in doing that. Yeah, the second day, the first day is the Airman's Run and coin ceremony, I think, and it's been a while since he's graduated basic, so I'm kind of going off memory. But there's a ceremony after the Airman's Run, a couple hours after, and this is when you first get to actually see your airmen. They'll walk in formation, they stand in their squads and wait, and they get announced and parade into the center, and they give you seating, and they hand out these papers so you know where to sit, so you get a better view and closer to your airmen depending on what squad they are, which is really, really nice. So we did that, and we sat as close as possible, and these bleachers fill up fast, and it gets hot there, so if you're waiting out because it's so hot, you might not get a close enough seat. And again, bring water and drink it. I was sort of acclimated to it because I went to high school in Texas and I had family there and I'd lived there before, but if you're from a colder climate and go there, it's gonna be hot, so be prepared for that as well. Especially if you're prone to heat exhaustion. But yeah, so the coin ceremony and the Airman's Run, I'll put clips throughout the video of how that was and how we experienced it. Now, after the coin ceremony, you can go down the bleachers, and let me tell you, this is a parade of people running down the bleachers trying to go tap out their airmen, tapping out. What basically that means is they have to stand in formation and wait for you or somebody to touch them, to tap them out so they can go visit with their family. So my mom took my daughter, who was crying because of the heat, around the bleachers, and I was looking for my daughter so I could bring her and me to go see my husband. And so I guess my dad took that as I'm gonna tap him out. So my dad actually tapped out my husband, which I will never forgive you for, Dad, because I wanted to tap him out the first time. But anyway, so Dad tapped him out, my dad tapped him out and gave him a hug. And you know, you're not allowed also for PDA, you're only allowed to give your first hug. And of course you have kids, it's more acceptable for PDA because that's your child, but if you have a spouse or something like that, PDA isn't allowed, hand holding isn't allowed, and your squad could actually get in trouble for that, so be prepared for that. So yeah, the second day, after that, which is, and you get a couple hours on base, the second day is another ceremony where they walk in a parade holding a flag of their squad and training squad and all that stuff. So the second day they can actually go off base after that parade. And again, you have to tap them out after that, after their information, and they say, you know, okay, you'll be released to your family now, so everybody come out and congratulations, and they give a speech and everything like that. So then you can go tap him out, which I did tap him out. I wanted to look at him first, just to look at him and see him standing there, but he did not like that, and he whispered to me really loud, tap me out already. So they might be eager, so you know, and if you can, get pictures at that moment, because both of your faces are going to be priceless. My mom got a picture of the back of my head and holding my daughter and my husband's face, and he looked very disgruntled because he didn't want to be in formation anymore. Also there's a souvenir shop on base that sells a bunch of stuff that you can buy, and you can also buy your airman's shirt, which is their they have an animal or something, and well, basically I just show you. This is my husband's one. Every standard one comes with that in the front, and the shirt's colors are dependent on the squadron, and but my husband's was dark blue, and this was at the back of his, looks like. We got a couple of them. So he was Bulldogs, 326 Training Squadron. So yeah, and what people also do is they'll pre-make their own shirts to wear, which I did too. My sister wore one. So that's also something you can do if you want to, you know, go full-on support of your airmen. So yeah, the second day they're allowed to get off base. I think you get free access to SeaWorld, which is in San Antonio, but let me tell you, everybody goes there. Everybody goes there and the Riverwalk. I grew up going to the Riverwalk, and it can be packed there just in general, but every weekend when you have airman family walking around there, it's pretty packed. But my whole, like all my uncles, or almost all my uncles, some couldn't make it to my husband's actual thing. We all went out to eat on the Riverwalk at a restaurant. My aunts, my cousins, my parents, me and my, it was a big group of people in support of my husband. So if you can, and you have the ability to, you know, especially because all of them live in Texas, so we were able to just like coordinate, and they all came, and my grandma. So yeah, we all coordinated in support of Nate, and that was really nice. So if you can do that, I think that really helps boost their morale, especially since they only get that coordinated time, and after that you have to go, or they have to go straight to tech school. So yeah, we went ahead and did that, and then you kind of walk around the Riverwalk, and they have to be back at certain times, and my husband was very paranoid about that, and so we'd always leave 30 minutes early or an hour early to make sure he was back on time. And they could change the time, like in the brochure that people are used to given halfway in, it'll say what time they're supposed to be back by, but depending on how well they do from that time on until you see them, that time could change, because I remember my husband's time changing from 8 p.m. to like 6:30, which is a real bummer, but again, you have to abide by these things. So yeah, let's see. Okay, Sunday you get, there's no like parades or anything like that. You just go and pick them up, and you can spend a couple hours on or off base depending on how well they did. We ended up being on base. So, and that day he got approval to go to a hotel to relax with me, my parents, and my daughter, and we just relaxed in the cool AC of a hotel, so that was nice. And we, you know, it's just like saying goodbye all over again, and it's really sad and heartbreaking, so be prepared for that. That's basically all I really have to say as far as the process goes. I should have been putting clips throughout the whole time right here showing exactly what it was and what it was like, and once you're there, you can order, or they can actually order it while they're in BMT. A yearbook, pictures, professional pictures, in walt sizes, large sizes, and then of course they have the souvenir shop. And also, can I just say that On the BMT Facebook page, closer to the time of their graduation, they post pictures of the process of the airmen and what they're going through. And if you can spot your airman, then you are one of the lucky people, because it's only a few pictures and they update once per week. And towards like the last week, I'd been looking the whole time, 8.5 weeks, and like the last week I spotted a picture of Nate. And it's just so relieving. So if you can, constantly check that, because I did, and you know, really getting your hopes up, and you know, just seeing the pictures of the process of what they see is nice, because it's a breath of fresh air knowing that, okay, this is what they're going through, so I'm kind of in the loop, because you can really feel out of the loop. And this video is really long, but I just wanted to make it a very informative video. If maybe you're just recapping on this, or if you're new to the Air Force, or just an informational video for people who are thinking of joining. And this maybe for the wives' point of view. I know my husband is going to do a point of view from him actually being in the BMT and his experience, so that will be a separate video, but this is just going to be more of a basic type of the process of how it went through and went down, and clips along the way. So I'm going to be posting a couple pictures too of what it looked like in their bunk beds, and you can go see where they slept, and you see their little locker, and just seeing them for the first time, because my husband and I met before he was in the Air Force, so we didn't like walk into this life on the get-go, so this was like a whole new experience. So it's really interesting to go through that experience. So I hope this video has been helpful, and I hope this information has been kind of a little bit added a little less stress for you as far as the process goes. And the good part about it is, especially if you have kids, you're able to read the letters off to your kids that your airman sends. And we only got like a letter a week. They can be more, or there cannot be even any. It just all depends on how they do. So again, I hope this has been helpful, and we'll see you in the next video on our day. And yeah.